My favourite thing about natural disasters, and I know it's wrong to have a list. Certainly getting it laminated was a mistake, but my favourite thing about natural disasters is the fact they call them acts of God, and then 2 days later they have a day of prayer. So they have a day of prayer for an act of God. What I want to know is, how does that prayer go? Dear Lord, what the fucking hell was that all about? Half the people that have ever smoked have now stopped, which sounds good, but when I say stopped, a lot of them are dead. I just think there's nicer ways of saying things, aren't there? Like saying, I've got a lot of nieces and nephews is a nice way to say my sister is a slut. She favours the flatter shoe is a nice way to say lesbian. Scared of the dark is a nice way to say horrible racist. I'm thinking of launching a fragrance is a nice way to say pull my finger. When I was at school, a girl called Alice wanked off a dog for 3 cigarettes. I know what you're thinking. How did a dog get cigarettes? I think British men have got a fairly terrible reputation in the bedroom. We're always saying the wrong thing. I remember once having a one-night stand with a girl, and after the sex, she turned to me and jokingly said, "Who's going to sleep in the wet patch?" I said, "You're optimistic, I'm not staying." This is a good story about how bad British men are in the sack. I've got a friend. He went on holiday to Ibiza. He was about 25 at the time, and he picked up a girl, got her back to the villa. They made love underneath the moonlight on the veranda. Sounds fairly romantic, I think, as a setting. But he managed to fuck it up, don't worry about that. She turned to him, she said, "Talk dirty to me." Or, more accurately, talk dirty to me. He had a couple of seconds to think. OK, gentlemen, you've all got a couple of seconds. Just go to the place in your head, the little Rolodex of dirt. Next to the wank bank, generally. You know, you've got something smutty you could get out pretty quickly. You've all got something, right? He had a few seconds to think. He came up with the following. "Have some of that, you fat slag." Have some of that, you fat slag. Fucking hell. I imagine pretty quickly followed by, "Why are you crying?" In terms of romance, it's right up there with, "Well, it won't suck itself." I'm not saying that women aren't as bad. Women can be as bad. I once had sex with an Australian girl. She said mid-coitus, whilst fucking. She said, "Have you slimed yet?" Have you slimed yet? I thought it was not fucking Ghostbusters. I fantasize about having sex with a gymnast. Not just because they're really bendy and flexible and you could do loads of extraordinary positions, but also because I imagine they do a brilliant dismount. They end up by the side of the bed like that. And if they bend their knees even just a little bit, you can make them do it again. 80% of personal ads say good sense of humour required. And the reason 80% of personal ads say good sense of humour required is because everything else in the personal ad is a lie. You turn up on the blind date, she says, "I know I said I was petite and pretty, but you've got to laugh." You think, "Yeah, I notice it also says you enjoy long walks, which is handy because you can fuck right off." Hello, I'm Jimmy Carr, and I'm announcing a new tour. It's called Jimmy Carr Laughs Funny, because, you know, I do. I go to jimmycarr.com for dates and tickets, and then, you know, I guess buy a ticket and come and see the tour. I laugh funny, so can you. Come and see me.